All right. Hello and welcome back. I did. This shows is gonna be in the video. The jobless fairy lover thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
All right. So, about a couple weeks ago now, I put together a quick PowerPoint after we found out about the way that Tera type can interact with abilities. So I took a look at every single ability in the game currently. So this will not include. This will be archaic by the time that they include like a couple of new abilities that might go hand in hand with Tera types. But I scoped out the ones that look to be very promising for the competitive game. And with me here we got Darian today. And I'm going to go ahead and show him all this, get his reactions, and do a little bit of discussing. Didn't take too long, but there's a lot going on here. So we're going to go ahead and start with adaptability. It's a very obvious one. It's also in alphabetical order outside of some exceptions. This Pokemon's moves that match one of its types have a same type attack bonus. And then, okay, how this PowerPoint is set up differs. So I'm gonna go straight to those Pokemon. So you got Porygonzi, Basculin, and Eevee naturally get it. And then the Crawdont, Feebas, which is irrelevant, Dragalge, and Gumshoes get it by hidden ability. So that means that when these Pokemon change Tera type, depending on what their move pools are, they're going to get even more free stab. Now, how do you feel about even more free stab on top of Tera types?
That's really neat, especially for Porygonzi and all these other really hyper offensive characters. Porygonzi, Crawdont. You know, Porygonzi has the massive special attack stat. Crawdont has access to Dragon Dance and a lot of stabs.
Yeah,
and of course, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't always really matter at the end of the day because of the inclusion of Tera Blast, which takes whatever your highest attacking set is and changes it to your Tera type. So it's gonna be it's gonna see. This is one of my more favorite abilities in general. Yeah. This is the one my boy Megadedro gets, and it makes him even crazier. But this is one of the better ones that can interact with all these different types. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's very scary. I wonder if they're going to put some level of threshold into the game, because I can see right now Porygonzi going ahead and popping Tera Blast with adaptability, with a change type, or with just a normal Tera type. People keep forgetting, like, these Pokemon don't have to change types to abuse this. You could have a Water Tera type on Crawdont, and then have it Crab Hammer with a D-Dance setup, and then get all this extra, stab. It's gonna be very crazy to see what kind of BS interactions happen. I'm hoping that they have some kind of threshold to stop this, because this is the first ability like on the list in general, and it's not a good start. So next is Analytic, which is the power of this Pokemon's moves multiplied by 1.3 if it's last. So being slower, basically getting almost a full adaptability buff, and that goes to the Magnezone line, Porygonzi again, Starmie, Watchog, and Beheeyem. All these Pokemon get this by normal ability, by the way. None of these are hidden ability. I mean, I don't think we should say anything. The only thing that holds this back, right? Obviously, Porygonzi is going to want the adaptability, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I can see Starmie. Starmie's already pretty fast, though. Maybe this changes so that some Pokemon don't invest in speed, that you can abuse that kind of thing. I can see Beheeyem being a threat with this, because Beheeyem already is kind of a null Pokemon. And then obviously Watchog, anything that makes Watchog more interesting. Hopefully some of these Pokemon are in the game, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's another one that I would look forward to seeing in some capacity. I haven't even thought about like items, because you're free to hold items too. In this, like the Tera typing thing, I don't know. It looks like an innate quality about a Pokemon, so I doubt there's gonna be held items involved. But it's gonna be nice seeing a lot of possibilities with this. So then you have Anticipation. Now this one's on the opposite end. Anticipation lets you know what if a super effective move or an OHKO move is on a Pokemon. So that means, I mean, I don't know exactly how it's gonna go, right? Because if the Pokemon doesn't have the Tera type active, you wouldn't know, and it wouldn't matter because they'd show it regardless, right? But I think anticipation is going to be more important now in the metagame. So, for example, let's say that... Hold on, let's see. What's the Pokemon that gets anticipation? Let's say I have a Wish Cash out, right? And I'm fighting a T-Tar. And the T-Tar has some kind of grass move, for example. Not that it gets that, right? Let's say that that's just on the table. It would be nice to know, hey, this thing might turn into a grass type real quick and kill me. So I think anticipation is going to be a really cool one. Pokemon I get that include Whiscash, Wormadam, Toxicroak. Let's see, I'm going straight down to like the bottom of these. Hatterene, ignore the Gmax Hatterene there. Rapidash, Eevee, and Ferrothorn. So, especially a Pokemon like Ferrothorn that has like stupid weaknesses. Anticipation might be a really cool ability. What do you think on that? Do you think you run that?
Do you really want to get rid of Iron Barbs, to be fair?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, it all depends on what Pokemon show up, what new Pokemon get these abilities as well. Well, other new abilities that come into play, but yeah, I mean, you've seen off-meta strats and stuff happen before. So yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a couple anticipation Ferrothorns out there lurking.
Yeah, so for example, say you run like lefties.
Especially
right?
if you have a Tera type that's like water to get rid of that massive fire weakness.
Yeah, but
something like that.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that the way that this is gonna go is like Pokemon like Magnezone or Porygonzi. It's like, oh yeah, that Pokemon is a legitimate, sweep threat. So, let me get Tera type on that one. I don't know. Maybe you just brought up an even better case, honestly. Like, what about defensive Tera typing? Just switch your Pokemon. Committing to the defense. Like, honestly, I'm actually about to ruin the metagame.
I've never really, ever since I saw this thing get revealed, I never looked at Tera typing, Terastallization offensively. I immediately went to getting rid of your weaknesses.
Yeah, that's this is like a step further, right? Like, take it even a step further and just make Ferrothorn like just Tera Fire. All of a sudden, I spend half the game tanking things that Ferrothorn normally tanks, and then I just swap. And then it's like, well, I can't touch anything on this team now because this Ferrothorn's just gonna switch in. Defensive strategies around Tera typing might be absolutely abysmal for the metagame. I'm looking forward to ruining someone's life with that.
It's gonna be exciting.
Here's an important one, right? Battle armor. Pokemon cannot be crit. Why is this important? Well, obviously because Pokemon are getting more damage. The last thing you need is for a Tera Dark Absol to Night Slash and just absolutely wreck your shit, right? This opens up an avenue, and it's really weird, right? Because this is a offensive ability. Like, the Pokemon that get this are really offensive, right? Like Kabutops, you have Phalanx, Berserker, Marowak. But that might actually, one of these Pokemon might actually enter the metagame because of that, Something that's not going to get crit by like a triple stab Tera type attack, right? I think that might be pretty good for a few of these monsters. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, that's going to be really good. I like battle armor. And like I said, these are a lot of offensive Pokemon. You don't really, other than like type Null, it's like the only defensive mon I see on this list.
Yeah, I'm thinking Drapion. I feel like somebody's ran like a more defensive Drapion before.
Yeah,
or like a setup.
Yeah, it's got good typing for it. Toxic Spike support. It could.
Yeah, and Phalanx is okay. I think Phalanx as like an all-rounder kind of Pokemon might work. But maybe we'll get new Pokemon with battle armor. Next is Berserk, which belongs specifically to Drampa. When it goes under half of its max HP, its special attack is raised by 1. And it applies after all hits from a multi-hit move. So it's a random Pokemon, but the ability itself would be perfect for this, honestly. And I think the only reason why I put this one on the list is because of the special attack raise. Anything that's going to boost your attack stat would be kind of disgusting when mixed with a Tera type. And then we have like Blaze, Torrent, Overgrow, and Swarm. When you go under a third of your max HP, the attacking stat is multiplied by 1.5 when using a fire type attack. Now, something that I didn't think about, Darian, is switching your type and then also having this to give you bonus stab on other moves. So it's basically like a free what is it called, Libero or whatever it's called for Greninja. You know what I mean?
Protean, yeah.
Or Protean, yeah. That sounds kind of disgusting. Having your starter change well, I mean, obviously breeding and stuff would be involved, but like having your starter change Tera type, and then also in like a crucial moment have like fire stab or water stab still.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty crazy. I'm getting more excited now looking and thinking of this stuff. And obviously you get Swarm. I know you love bug type. What do you think about the options there?
There's plenty of options. I know. Are there any more other than these? I don't even remember.
There's others like this, but these are the 4 that specifically do this. Do it this way. And then also I have like Flashfire and stuff later, and that's all in one list. Obviously I didn't really put like what Pokemon get these, because only the starters get Blaze Torn and Overgrow, and then there's a couple of bugs that get Swarm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really gonna be, because this also gives a lot of older abilities that you don't really think of a chance to shine. Kind of like you can just do all these different strats now.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to send out like a Blaziken, swap it to like a pure fighting type, and then like get rid of the fire weakness while still having fire stab. Like this, it's so cool. The amount of playmaking, and people have been trashing on this, saying that it's dumb and lame and it looks bad. But like, look at how it plays though. There's so much potential for so many abilities. I have like half the abilities in the game on this list. This is one that I definitely want to try immediately though. Seeing what you can get away with this. And we don't even know how they're changing movesets to fit this. Or like TM compatibility. Or like what they're gonna do with TMs, you know? The possibilities are almost endless with it. Then you have Defeatist, which is Archeops' signature ability, which is actually good now. Because even though it loses attack and special attack, who's to say that the extra stab won't make up for it in some way?
Yeah.
You know? Archeops doesn't get any other abilities too, right? Like, it just says Defeatist.
No, it's only Defeatist, yeah.
So if Archeops is in the game, there's a chance that it kind of gets lucky with this. Hopefully. Because the Archeops is a really cool Pokemon. And then Porygonzi again with Download. And this is the only Pokemon with it. So on switch in, attack or special attack can be raised on the weaker combined defensive stat of... Wait. I read that wrong. Spellbound attack or special attack raised by 1 stage based on the weaker combined defensive stat of all opposing Pokemon. Attack is raised if their defense is lower, and special attack is raised if their special defense is the same or lower. So again, like Porygonzi, looking to be very disgusting no matter what ability is on it. I'm going to skip through that one because we already talked about Z. And then Mr. Mime is the only non-Mega Pokemon that gets 3/4 damage from super effective attacks with Filter. So not only is it buffed in Unite, it's buffed in the main game too. So Darian, tell me exactly how you're gonna run your Mr. Mime.
My Mr. Mime?
Mr. Mime's gonna be on everything.
Yeah. Especially how it's been doing in Unite. I'm seeing clips all over the place of Mr. Mime just going on rampages now. But with this, changing all your types to get even less super effective damage, maybe we'll see some offensive Mr. Mimes, because Mr. Mime, just like Unite, has always been more of a supporter with some screens. But with that...
Imagine, dude. Mr. Mime just eating every hit. That's why.
Especially, I mean, what if he Tera types into an electric type? You have no weakness in it.
Air balloon with with electric typing.
Yeah, so you could go electric, but you would lose your weakness, therefore losing your abilities. Maybe go to a like something that I don't know.
Well,
but
no, because they can only hit you with a super effective ground move, right?
Yeah,
and that's going to be reduced by 3/4 of the damage. That sounds broken, honestly. Having only one weakness, or even like normal type, and it's like you're only weak to fighting, and then you take 3/4 of the damage from fighting. So again, like if they add more Pokemon with Filter is gonna absolutely destroy the metagame. Absolutely. Especially if it's a
Solid
Pokemon
Rock
like
for
Mime
any
that
of
can
that.
set up screens.
Any of those abilities that take damage down, whether it's like Solid Rock or Ice Scales on,
and they're on the list.
They're on the list.
So then we have Drifblim's Flare Boost, which I believe they showed off in the trailer without actually mentioning it. While the Pokemon's burn, the power of the special attack is multiplied by 1.5. On top of it being a random type, pretty good for Drifblim. Let's see. Wait? So fire types, right? They don't take damage from burn, or they can't be burned, right?
They cannot be burned.
So my question is, what happens when Drifblim becomes a fire type? Will it just not take damage? Will it heal the burn? It's an interaction that I really want to know, and that's why it's on the list.
I mean, I would assume it might just stay that way because it got the burn when it wasn't a fire type. I know. I mean, I just don't know if it will like that. It'll probably just stay burned.
It'll probably just stay burned and take damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting one right there. Then you have Flashfire and all the other versions. There's actually like 2 water versions of Flashfire and like 2 electric versions.
Dry skin or
no. Dry skin's a bit different. Dry skin you heal, but like these abilities mainly you absorb the attack and then gain a damage buff.
A boost, yeah.
Yeah. So all those abilities, very obvious. Those are just going to straight up boost your stats. All of these abilities are going to be even more important. Gastrodon with the Storm Drain, plus like a Water Tera type or a Ground Tera type would probably do a lot more than what it currently does. And that's already a monster of a Pokemon. And then the same goes for like Pokemon like Rhydon and Marowak aren't really the best with something like Lightning Rod, but then you got like Arcanine and Ninetales with Flashfire.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of potential there.
Gets as well as a hidden ability, which is I've always found funny.
Who gets it?
Seeking, the fish.
Oh, Seeking gets Flashfire?
No, Lightning Rod.
Oh, Lightning Rod. Yeah, it does get Lightning Rod. I was about to say Seeking gets Flashfire.
Really wild.
Forewarn. On switch in, Pokemon's alerted to the move with the highest power at random. So this is another way to scout for the Tera type, or just see what that Tera Pokemon is going to attack with. I think Musharna's the most interesting out of the ones here, but I do love Hypno, and Jinx is way too weak for a competitive game anyways. But again, they could add Forewarn. They could not change, but add new Pokemon with Forewarn. So that's another one I'm looking out for. I was really hoping that there'd be more abilities like this, but honestly, there's only a few. So maybe they might add a new one, or they might add some more Tera specific. Like, dude, I can't wait for like the legendary Pokemon to have like a Tera boost ability.
Yeah.
So they get even more like the power creep's insane this gen. I can't wait. So that's Forewarn. Nothing too crazy. We already kind of talked about that one. Then you got Bronzeon with Heat Proof. So the power of fire type attacks are halved, and burn damage taken is halved. So this thing could become a fire type and then tank fire types like no other Pokemon in the game. Or become water type and tank fire, anything that resists fire already. Obviously Heat Proof only exists to mitigate the fire type weakness, right? But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think this one's gonna be pretty useful?
Can be, especially if you go with the Tera type for fire, then you're really not gonna take any damage.
Anything that resists fire would be insane. And then it's like obviously you gotta look at the move pool too, right? Like what is Bronzeon gonna do outside of its normal trash move?
Usual gyro ball and stuff like that. I mean, you can set rocks on you.
Yep. I mean, maybe this thing gets access to some like special moves, or actually, it's got a higher attack stat. This thing might get like Rock Slide or something, go like Tera type Rock and eat fire type hits. I mean, fire's not really an abundant type, but it is a common attack type,
Yeah.
So that would be really interesting to see. And again, like, I really love like defensive Pokemon. I think they're a lot cooler than the all-out attackers because they all do the same thing. But having like a physical sponge or like a special sponge, and this thing can do both. It's got equal defense and special defense. So Bronzeon might be a really cool Pokemon, and I'm pretty sure it also gets screens too, right?
It does.
So yeah, like defensive Tera typing might be slept on, might be. So this is why I tried to split in half. We have Illusion and Imposter, basically do the same thing, right? These are obviously going to be disgusting. I'm not as concerned with them like having a Tera type themselves, but baiting out the Tera attacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zoroark, Ditto. Obviously, Ditto's going to be used for Imposter. Ditto's always been like that ever since it got the hidden ability. I don't want to know how Tera types interact with Ditto. That just sounds batshit, you know. But maybe it'll be something there that we just don't know yet. What do you think? Do you think these Pokemon will be worth using?
I can see it definitely being worth using. I mean, but the thing is, like, even when you Tera type, you'll change to whatever you're trying to be. Like, you'll change anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not sure. That's interesting. I think it'd be definitely more for Imposter than.
Yeah, I think
what you call it. But the thing is, we have to know how Imposter interacts. If you copy the other Pokemon, does it take Ditto's Tera type or the opponent's Tera type?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta know how that works out. But it's definitely good for Illusion.
Yeah, I think one advantage that Illusion's gonna have is the fact that if they try to go all out, they're gonna end up hitting into like a Dark type, regardless, right? I think that Zoroark's the perfect bait Pokemon for that. And again, like, because at the end of the day, you're gonna have to figure out how to counterplay against like this super stab attack, right? So I mean, who knows? Maybe it's just gonna be way too strong, right? And having Illusion won't matter because Zoroark will get killed. But you know, maybe you can just like max out defenses, Sucker Punch, and stuff like that. You know, try and chip away. I like the potential of baiting though. It sounds immensely great. And then like for example, because Tera types don't have to change your types. It just has to be the boost, right? Yeah. So let's say, for example, there's a Charizard. And the Charizard gets like a flying type Tera type, right? And it's going for like a... Well, I think... Wait, flying doesn't resist itself, right?
No, flying is...
So let's go with fire instead for the sake of the argument, right? And then you switch out into a Ditto. Ditto just gives you free resist. Because it turns into a Charizard and gets the fire typing. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I was with that one. Then you have Justified. Attack stage is raised after taking a Dark type move, and this is a hidden ability only one. I think Justified only goes to the Sword trio.
Yeah.
And then like Lucario, Absol, Gallade, and Arcanine get it by hidden ability. These Pokemon are already great. This one, I'm pretty sure you can agree this one's gonna be a bit more niche. Except for the case of Absol and maybe Lucario, because they straight up resist it. Gallade is neutral to Dark, and then Arcanine is also neutral to Dark. But you know, that's still playmaking potential at the end of the day. Either taking a Dark type hit, or you know, abusing some form of resistance. That's what I have for that one. Not really a big one. Levitate is going to be disgusting. And we're gonna go straight to the list. All right. So none of these Pokemon initially have a ground type weakness to begin with, right? But they also can change to electric type in order to further abuse, the Levitate. Or like they can change to rock type, anything that's weak to ground. They can change to steel type. Get all the benefits of steel type without the ground weakness. And ground is like one of the most stupidly common types in competitive.
Yeah, everyone loves their earthquakes.
So again, this is more of a defensive one, but offense and defense equally are important in Pokemon. So taking a look at this list, what Pokemon do you anticipate would abuse this the most?
I'm looking at on this list, maybe it's either going to be Flygon or maybe the Haunter Ghastly line, because with their poison typing, they actually are weak to ground.
Yeah.
So they'll definitely like to use it. What you call snow on this list? Bronzeon. Is that just gets a hit? Is this like a non-hidden ability list, or because I know Bronzeon gets it?
It wasn't on the list, or I missed it. There we go. Yep.
So
here's the rest of the Pokemon that get access to it.
Oh, there goes Electross.
Electross, right, all the Rotoms, Hydreigon, and Vikavolt. All of these Pokemon can turn into anything weak to ground, and just completely remove the ground weakness. Yeah, I forgot because this is like one of the most common abilities. Yeah. Do we have a third one? We do not have a third one. So yeah, Hydreigon obviously is going to be disgusting because it gets access to everything. Vikavolt might be a bit more interesting because of it. I could definitely see Electross because Electross also gets access to everything under the sun. So these Pokemon could just get any kind of stab, have access to the moves, and then also just never have a weakness. I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
That's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be good. I'm really looking forward to Levitate. Levitate mons are gonna be disgusting this gen. And then you have Magnet Pull, which I think is the most big brain out of all of these abilities. Prevents steel types from choosing to switch out unless they are immune to trapping. So anything that tries to become, like we were talking earlier about Pokemon becoming steel type, right? Even with the Levitate example, right? Then you send out a Magnezone with Magnet Pull. And it's like, sorry, you changed the steel type. Now you're stuck here. Like all the other. So what do you think about that counterplay?
That's gonna be very interesting. And we also gotta see how we get these Tera types, how long the grind's gonna take to get all these, but
that's true.
You get the perfect mon for this, it's gonna be a blast.
It's gonna be a blast. Like I could just imagine like let's say like a fairy type Pokemon Flash Cannon just change to a steel type, and then Magnezone just comes out. It's like, hey, I'm about to change to a fire type. You good with that? And it's like, no, I'm not good with that.
Don't do that.
Rattled is a very interesting one. Pokemon speed raised by one stage if hit by a bug, dark, or a ghost type. So you mainly just have Gramble and Sudowoodo, but Dunsparce has been teased or like suggested, what's the word, rumored to get an Evo this gen. I don't think that's gonna happen, but just for the sake of entertainment, what do you think is gonna happen with the Rattled ability? You think Rattled's gonna play a big role in the metagame with these niche attack types?
I don't know if a ability this niche, especially after talking about Levitate.
Yeah.
Because we see Sudowoodo, Dunsparce, Snubble, Gramble. Snubble, Gramble, you'll probably just want to run Intimidate.
Yep.
Sudowoodo has like
Rockhead, yeah.
But other than that, I mean, if Dunsparce does get all these it gets the rumored evolutions and it becomes viable, then absolutely. I don't even know what other ability Dunsparce gets. Gets Serene Grace. That's right.
Oh yeah, Serene Grace. Yeah. So, you probably would want Serene Grace if you're somehow running a Dunsparce, but
unless you just want to do a different strategy.
Yeah, but yeah, this is another ability that is important because it does have an interaction with Tera types. Just there's not much of a Pokemon pool for that one. Then you have Sand Force. Now, ground, rock, and steel basically get stabbed. On top of the fact that Tera typing exists. So you have Excadrill, Dugtrio, Probopass, Gastrodon, Hippowdon, and Gigalith. All get Sand Force. Any others? Nope. All these Pokemon get Sand Force, meaning all these Pokemon will have basically stab for the three main types that are involved with Sandstorm. On top of being able to just switch freely to any other type. Thoughts on that one? This one's gonna be nutty.
It's another one of those where like sometimes you might prefer their other abilities.
Yeah.
So I know Sand Rush. Like I said, there's always going to be alternate strategies in competitive that will be interesting to see what people come up with. Especially like I said, Excadrill's always been strong.
Yep.
Dugtrio, they have a Arena Trap, so
yeah,
they've always been fun to mess around with Arena Trap, which is basically kind of like a better version of we talked about earlier with Magnet Pull.
Magnet Pull. Yeah, the only problem with the Arena Trap is that it's probably the ability that's gonna get just as baited, if not more baited, by the Tera typing. Because with Magnet Pull, you can read it, right? Like you can just bring the standard Magnezone with Magnet Pull. And then if the opponent happens to switch to a steel type for the amazing defense benefits, or maybe for the move pool that Pokemon has, Magnezone has it covered. But with Arena Trap, you're just trapping a Pokemon regardless of whether or not you have the type matchup, you know? And then you could go into something saying, I need to grab this Pokemon specifically and kill them, and then they could just, you know, change their Tera type. It works that way. I don't understand why anyone would want a steel type to change types anyways, you know?
Yeah,
Steel is way too good to just be like, oh, you know, I think I want my steel type to be weak to like 4 different things. You know, I have like no resistance. So yeah, I mean that is a good argument though. The like Storm Drain on Gastrodon is obviously way better. So that's just a Pokemon that's taken off right away. Excadrill can get Sand Rush, sure, but I think with Excadrill, with it being more of like that physical attacker, unless its speed is that mid in the, you know, going into next gen, I can definitely see it with Excadrill specifically. It's kind of like the poster child for that ability. It's the sand stuff in general.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, Solid Rock, 3/4 damage from super effective attacks. I love Rhyperior. Camerup's awesome, and then you also have Caracosta. Those are the Pokemon with Solid Rock. And I'm definitely going to be using Rhyperior because Rhyperior actually can become a mixed special attacker.
It can.
It has options. So I'm really looking forward to it, especially because Rhyperior of all Pokemon deserves to just be good, you know, not have like 4 times weakness. Same thing with Camerupt. Camerupt could be amazing if you just took away all those weaknesses.
It's one of those, for some reason, I notice a lot of rock types like getting a lot of special coverage and having low special attack.
Yeah.
Rampardos gets like Thunderbolts and Fire Blast. I'm like,
now imagine if Nidoking's hidden ability was solid rock. Nidoking would just be eating, dude. That'd be nuts. And then Dhelmise's signature ability, Steelworker, meaning it already gets access to a steel stat multiplier. So you could potentially just have a pure steel type Dhelmise doing what it always wanted to, right? 131 attack, 100 defense. Not easy to take out a Pokemon like that, even though it's slow. And a 90 special defense. This, like, change it to a steel type and it's basically a fortress, you know?
Can't be stopped.
Cannot be stopped. So that's another one of those. And then one of your favorite abilities here, Technician.
Yes, sir. Love me some
Technician's gonna be disgusting with the bonus stab. Let's see, we have a list of 2. We're gonna list them off real quick. Persian, Scizor, Smeargle, and then I had to cut it at Smeargle again here. Hitmontop, Ambipom, which is one of my favorites. Chinchino, which I'm gonna be using Skill Link on those Pokemon anyways. Skill Link is gonna be disgusting too. I'm pretty sure it's. Wait, do I not have? I did not put Skill Link in here.
It's a bonus.
It's a
Skill
bonus.
Link.
I think it was too obvious for me. Mr. Mime, Breloom, which we already know is in the game. Kricketune, which is a fun Pokemon. Roserade, Toxicity, and Grapploct all get access to Technician. These Pokemon are going to be disgusting.
Especially Grapploct. Grapploct, Scizor, Breloom. Especially with Breloom, getting what's that new item?
Oh yeah, the loaded dice.
The loaded dice. You can get the extra bullet speed.
Yeah,
on top
Chinchino Technician loaded dice. That might be the move.
It might be.
And then we have Tinted Lens. Pokemon's attacks that are not very effective deal double damage. So this is another very crucial ability for the metagame. Sigalith, I think, is viable already. And Yanmega is with its other ability. Usually, it's more used. So the thing about Tinted Lens is that they can swap to a Tera type that bugs can't beat or flying types can't beat, and then you'd still be able to do neutral damage to them. That sounds kind of important, don't you think?
It does, very much so. Tinted Lens has always been an interesting ability.
It's been a good way to enable bugs. I hope some of the new bugs or some new Pokemon in general get access to Tinted Lens. I also didn't know that Noctowl got access to it. I'm pretty sure these guys on the right, definitely Noctowl, and Sigalith get that by hidden ability. So it'd be really cool to see what some of these Pokemon can do with their hidden ability. That's probably not been done for them before. Then you have one of my favorite Pokemon, Palo Sand. Defense raised by 2 stats when it's hit by a water type move, similar to the steam engine that we saw in the trailer. It's just the same for Palo Sand. Change Palo Sand to a water type, get hit by like a water shuriken or something, boom, all of a sudden it's got massive defense and it's barely taking any damage from that attack. So yeah, that's another one that I'm looking out for. Not that crazy. And then we're going to the honorable mentions already. Wow, we're already at the end. All right, so Battery increases special attack of allies, so that's gonna be like a doubles thing by 1.3 times. Clear Body prevents stat stages from lowering. Let's see. I think this is a good time for me to open up another tab, just so we can talk about some of these abilities.
Off topic, I'm actually currently hella sweating right now in a Rumbleverse game.
Oh, are you?
I'm doing solos right now. Oh my god, I can't be stopped.
Alright, so Tentacruel gets Clear Body. Metagross.
Yes.
Kling, which is hidden. Carbink. And Dragapult's main ability is actually Clear Body, alongside Infiltrator. So that means that these Pokemon can set up and not have to worry about getting their stats dropped. Then you have Cursed Body. When a Pokemon is hit by a move, 30% chance to disable the move. So that would be nice against the new Tera attack. Defiant, which we talked about, raises attack stage when a stat is lowered. All weather abilities, all terrain abilities will obviously be good because it'll add more damage on top of the double stab. Guts, which most people just burn their Pokemon to get a free setup. That's gonna be disgusting. Wonder Guard, White Smoke, which White Smoke is just Clear Body again. Huge Power and Pure Power get double attack stats. Hyper Cutter again prevents your attack from going down. Intimidate is a given. Obviously, Intimidate's going to be disgusting and it's going to be really good counterplay. Iron Fist increases the power of punching moves. Liquid Voice, which is Primarina's signature ability, makes sound-based moves water type. So if Primarina were to be transferable into the game, it'd have access to that. Obviously, on Smogon, you're going to be able to run Primarina and she's going to be able to do all that stuff. Marvel Scale, 1.5 times defense when statused. Not too many Pokemon get that one, but obviously that's going to help tank the Tera boost. Mega Launcher makes pulse moves do 1.5 times, so that's like Clauncher usually. Gonna be even stronger.
I think Clauncher and Mega Blasters.
Mega Blasters, yeah. If they put Mega Blasters in the game and give it a Tera type. Mold Breaker ignores abilities, which that honestly I probably should have put that one in the main group. Let me go ahead and look that one up as well. Because I just realized Mold Breaker will actually be very good counterplay for the new meta. Pinsir gets access to it. Rampardos, Excadrill again, Throw and Sock, Basculin again, and Haxorus is probably the most known. Druddigan, Pangoro, Hawlucha. All of those Pokemon are going to have extra access to counterplay, as they'll be able to negate a lot of the abilities that were featured on the list, hopefully.
Yes.
Then you have Moxie, which is another generic stat increase. Sniper, which makes crit damage go up even more, which makes abilities like Battle Armor even more useful. Stamina, which Mudsdale has, and maybe just Mudsdale, I'm not sure. Raise defense every time it gets hit with an attack. Tough Claws, 1.3 times boost to contact moves. Water Bubble, which Araquanid has. Water power is doubled, can't be burned, and fire is halved. So Araquanid specifically is going to be disgusting. And that's the end of the list. What do you think, Darren? That was definitely worth the wait, wasn't it?
That's going to be a good list. There's a lot of... I'm excited for everything that's about to go on here.
Yeah, so we have a lot coming with this new metagame. And again, like, this is just an example of people trying to say that Tera types are lazy. but they already mentioned Steam Engine. They already knew what this meant. They had this planned out. And there are so many abilities, not even like the ones that we're never going to see used, like the fetus or download, right? There's so many abilities just on the honorable mentions alone that we already know about, that are already strong, that are going to get used for completely different reasons now. It's going to be insane to see what level of damage goes into the game and what is going to try and stop that ridiculous amount of damage coming into the game. So, in closing, Tera types are cool. Terastallization is amazing. I cannot wait to play it. I cannot wait to cheese people with all these combinations. And this isn't even mentioning all the moves. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a list like this for all the moves.
Oh, good lord.
But if
it's still abilities we left off, to be fair, there might be some stuff that we didn't even think about that could get used here.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at a whole list, but I didn't put down every ability. So who knows? There's, they could always add new abilities. They could always give Pokemon new abilities. They could always change how abilities work as well. Who knows? Maybe they'll actually like remove all of the like auto stab abilities from the game. So hopefully you enjoyed this quick discussion video. I mean, I say quick, but it was probably at least 20 minutes. And let me know if you made this far into the video what ability you're looking forward to using come Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And hopefully when I put together another video like this, you'll be there. And until then, I hope you take care.